Hey everyone, it's Jessica here from Double the Stitches, and I am so excited to welcome you to this Q&A session about local yarn store day and about the LYS Love Shawl. So I've got lots of stuff to share with you, and when you see the video, do me a favor, say hi, let me know that you're watching. It looks like we've got a couple of people joining us, and that's wonderful. And so when you type a comment, if you just add your name with the comment, then I'll be able to know who I am talking to. We'll see how crazy this gets. If you have enabled StreamYard, which is the software that I use to go live that I'm using right now, you have the option, and it should be in the comments. If you go to streamyard.com/Facebook, then I'll be able to see just your name and your profile picture. So we've got MJ joining us, and Debbie from Damp Central Pennsylvania. And so if not, then I just see Facebook user, and that is totally okay too. We are actually live in 3 places today, which is really exciting. We're live in my Facebook group, Double the Stitches Patterns. We are also live on my Facebook page, which is Double the Stitches. And for the first time, we're live on my YouTube channel, which is a little bit neglected. And I'm sorry about that, folks, but some people don't do Facebook. And so I thought I would add YouTube into the mix. So thank you all so much for joining me. And if you have questions about anything about LYS Day or about the pattern specifically, feel free, add them in the comments, and I will answer all of them. If you are watching the replay, let me know, type, hashtag replay if you choose, or you can just post in the comments, and I'll keep coming back to these videos to see if I can answer any questions that you might have, because I know that not everyone can join us at this hour. So we try to make all the time zones work, and sometimes it does and sometimes not so much. So welcome. I am going to share. Well, nope, that was not the one I wanted. That one. Okay. So thank you to those of you who are on this morning watching us. And I have some information to share with you. So this is all about Local Yarn Store Day and the event that I am running for Local Yarn Store Day. This is, we'll start with a little bit about me. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jessica A's. No one knows how to pronounce my last name. I joke with my husband that I inherited, when we got married, his last name is the hardest 3 letters to pronounce. So it's A's, and we joke like Fridays or chicken franchise. So I'm Jessica A's, and I'm so grateful that you're all here. Whether you're a longtime friend or you're new to me and Double the Stitches, I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome. I want to take just a minute and introduce myself to you a little bit. So I am the designer and everything else behind Double the Stitches. If you've gotten an email, it came from me. If you've seen a post, it came from me. There's no team. It's all me. So I wanted to share a little bit about the brand. So Double the Stitches, it's a name that was inspired by my children. And I often share the story of how I dreamed up the name one sleepless night with my twins when they were newborns. And I realized that if I ever wanted to have, for my boys to have handmade things, I was going to need Double the Stitches. So that is the sleep-deprived mom, 3 in the morning with about 3-month-old twins, inspiration. So, sometimes our brains go to creative places when we are sleep deprived. And so the brand name just kind of stuck. And so the most rewarding part of being a designer for me is getting the opportunity to see something that I dreamed up and to see that created by other knitters all around the world. I also love teaching others to knit and teaching knitting techniques. And I cherish those moments when I really get to see my students truly, really get it and learn something new that they've now added to their toolbox of yarny knowledge, I like to call it. And I also, you'll see Stitch Society there is a membership that I created about 1.5 years ago. I wanted to have a small, tight-knit community of fellow crafters. I wanted to have a deeper connection. I wanted to, we were kind of doing a lot of knitting alone during the pandemic and seeking out and searching for other crafters. And maybe sometimes life is just too busy, totally unrelated to, all the stuff from 2020 and beyond. But since it's hard to get to those knit nights, sometimes it's hard to, fit those things into your schedule to get out of the house. Especially I found for moms that, they kind of need to be home because the kids are in bed, but they want to make that, connection with other knitters. So I'll tell you more about that another time. But if that's something that you're interested in learning more about, please send me a message and I'll share some more information with you. So let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to why you are here. We are here to talk about local yarn store day, and I can't wait to tell you more about everything that I have planned and the knit along that I am hosting. But first things first, let's talk about local yarn store day because some of you may not really even know what it is or where it came from. So it is a brick and mortar yarn shop appreciation day that was created by TNNA members. That's the National Needle Arts Association. And this is the 6th year that they are having this event, this local yarn store day. And it's really just an opportunity to support these small businesses. It's designed to bring together a unique community of knitters, crocheters, weavers, spinners, to drive awareness, to celebrate our crafts, to celebrate these small, independent, mostly women-owned businesses that are kind of the lifeblood, I look at it, of our fiber arts. It's where, maybe you learned to knit online, but then, you took a class, or it's where you go to squish the beautiful yarn. And so vendors and retailers alike are coming together to showcase the benefits of these locally owned yarn stores through an array of special products, classes, and more. And I'm so proud to be one of them. And I'm also a sponsor of the event this year. And it's something that's so important to me. In previous years, I owned a brick and mortar store in a different industry entirely. And retail can be so hard. And I just think that a lot of people who have never had that experience don't really know how hard it can be. And then especially throw in, all the challenges of these last few years where yarn stores couldn't really host large groups. They couldn't really have their big knit nights. They couldn't really have large classes. And a lot of that is what fills in the gaps between the yarn sales for these stores. And so I thought about, as a designer, what could I do to kind of support these yarn shops in a way. And so I, 4 years ago, designed a pattern specially for the event, and it just keeps growing and growing every year. So I am so excited about all of this. I am hosting what is known as a CAL or a KAL or a knit along, and I am doing this with a live component to it because I love that community feeling. I love that camaraderie, and I love being able to support you. I love being able to get to know you better. And so I decided that I'm not just going to put a pattern out there and I wanted to make it bigger. I wanted to make it more exciting and more fun. So we're also going to have a knit along, and there's going to be 3 live events for this. And I'm calling it LYS Love Live. And so we're going to have a cast on party. That's going to be Saturday, May 6th. So local yarn store day is tomorrow. Some shops may also be celebrating through the weekend on Sunday. And the following Saturday evening, we're going to get together on Zoom. You'll bring your yarn and your needles if you have it already. We'll get to know each other a bit, and I'll answer any questions you have about the pattern. I'm going to walk you through all of the stitches on the video because I don't want you to struggle in silence. The stitches are not that difficult. It's a nice lace pattern if you have knit some of these stitches before, but I have tutorials for you to walk you through, and we'll go through those during the live, the cast on party too, because I want to make sure that you feel comfortable and supported in knitting this pattern. We're also going to have 2 LYS Love Live knit nights, and those will be on Zoom. The The cast on party will be recorded and a replay will be available for you to watch if you can't make it live. The knit nights are a little bit different for me because I'm not actually planning to do a lot of teaching during these. It's more of a social thing. So the cast on party where I am teaching and talking about the specifics of the pattern and answering your specific questions, that will be recorded. But our 2 knit nights are not, because I want you to be able to, connect authentically and not worry about, what you might say or who might watch it. So, and to feel more, for it to be more genuine. So the 2 knit nights, Saturday, May 20th and Saturday, June 10th, also at the same time at 7 o'clock Eastern. And June 10th happens to be Worldwide Knit in Public Day, which I think is a pretty happy coincidence. So we get an opportunity to connect and hang out and spend some time and work on our projects and share our progress too. All right, so let me just take a quick pause and see if there are any questions. So I see a question from MJ asked, what size needles do we need? And I don't think I put it on a slide, so I'm going to answer that for you. So it's a DK weight shawl, and it is knit using Jody Long Chow is what I used for my shawl, which is it's a really lovely, soft, superwash merino, 100% superwash merino, but you can knit it with any other DK weight yarn is what it's designed for. There was a shop, Swanky Mountain, who knit hers with a different yarn, and that was a light worsted. So if you knit it with a bigger yarn, then it might just be a little bit bigger, but it's a shawl, so that's wonderful. So you'll need US 9, which is a 5.5 millimeter needles to knit. I'm answering that. So to knit the shawl, I used a US 9 needle. Now, I also had questions. People said, but I wouldn't usually use that size to knit a DK weight yarn. Are you sure that's right? And so I wanted the fabric of this shawl to be loose, to be drapey. And so I went up in the needle size beyond, typically a DK you might knit with, say, somewhere between maybe a 5 and a 7. And so I really went up in that needle size because I wanted a specific effect as I was knitting it, as I, in the finished product. So it is, there are no knitting police. So if you would prefer to knit it with a different size needle, you can. You may want to cast on more repeats in order to make it wider, but you don't. And then you may want to knit the stockinette panels, to a different length. That's why I have in the pattern, you'll block that center lace panel first. And then you can decide how long you'd like to make the panels if you choose to make customizations. One second. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the construction of this. So it's a somewhat uncommon construction. It is a rectangular shawl. It has this elegant lace stitch pattern in the center and adorning the ends of the shawl. There is the lace is knit flat. Everything is knit flat. You don't need a very long circular needle. I saw someone asked in the comments a question about the length for the circulars. I think you could probably really go with, say, a 24-inch, you may be fine with. You don't necessarily need a big, long circular because you don't have a ton of stitches on your needles at any time. So maybe a 24 or a 32-inch, I think, should be fine if you're going to use circulars for it. You might be able to squish it together on a straight, but that might be a little bit rough. Okay, so it's a uniquely constructed rectangular shawl. It has a lace center panel. There is no cable needed. And there's no seaming of the pieces because after you knit the center lace panel, you'll pick up the stitches along the sides of the center panel, and then you'll knit those out sideways. And then you'll end off with some lace at the ends of those stockinette panels. And a lot of people ask, it looks so complicated, it looks so difficult. Is it really hard? And what skills and techniques are used? So I generally defer to a long tail cast on. You could use a stretchy cast on and a stretchy bind off. In my particular shawl, I didn't, but some of my testers did prefer that. So that's really up to you. Long tail generally is my favorite cast on because of the nice strong edge that it creates. And the stitches that are used, there may be some that aren't new to you, but you're knitting. There's knit two together, there's purls and purl two together. And then we have some lace, more common lace stitches where with a slip one, knit one, pass the slip stitch over, slip one, knit two together and pass the slip stitch over. So that decreases 2 stitches. You'll sometimes be slipping 1 stitch with the yarn in the back or with the yarn in the front. That's all in the pattern for you. There's also a slip, slip, purl, and of course yarn overs for that beautiful, those open spaces in the lace. And I have tutorial videos for you for all of the stitches that are used. And what else can I tell you about that? So the videos currently are linked from doublethestitches.com/learn. That is at the moment right now, it's just continental knitting. I am adding English style videos as well, because I know that when we knit, it helps to see the tutorials in the way that we hold the yarn, and there are slight variances. So I will have those videos for you. Those should be up by tomorrow. Okay, so where can I find a local yarn store? I am so thrilled to share that there are 247 local yarn stores participating in this event. I've sent codes to 240 yarn stores. I far surpassed, I was hoping maybe I would reach 200. Last year we had 165 was the final count. And then sadly over the year we lost a few yarn shops closed, due to the economy and all of the complications of being a small business owner. So I started adding shops, and I was around 150 shops. So almost 100 more shops participating this year than last year. And I am so grateful to all of those yarn shops that I reached out to, that I said, hey, I'm doing this thing, want to join? And they were thrilled. Those that responded. If you are a yarn store and you're watching this right now and you would like to join, please just send me a message. I am happy to continue adding more yarn shops, and I'll get you your codes. I also did want to mention, so last year when I calculated up the number of codes that were actually redeemed and did the math with an average cost of yarn for last year's event, this event raised over $30,000 for local yarn stores. So that was, in their sales. It wasn't like a charity or anything. It was, sales of yarn. So over $30,000 of yarn was bought last year for my local yarn shop day event. So I'm hoping that would be wonderful if we can double that this year. That would be fabulous. But I will update and let you know after the codes have been redeemed, how we did this year. So of course you want to know, how do you get the pattern? So to support the local yarn stores, this pattern, the LYS Love Shawl, will be free with the purchase of yarn to make it this weekend only. You'll receive a Ravelry coupon code from the yarn stores to download your copy of the pattern. And as far as what yarn you're looking for, so as I mentioned, I use Jody Long Chow, which is a DK weight super wash extra fine merino. It was a dream to knit with, and if the store that you're shopping at carries it, I highly recommend it. Any purchase of approximately 566 yards of DK, or we'll extend that light worsted yarn, anything kind of in that range of gauge, to knit your own LYS Love Shawl from a participating shop this weekend counts. And that can be any yarn. I had Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl knit a sample using Jody Long Summer Delight, which is a cotton yarn. And so for the season, she wanted to give different options. Eagle Bend Alpaca Farm in Kentucky, they knit their sample with, I think it was Lana Gatto VIP, which is a cashmere yarn. You can really, go any range. They'll also have kits available in their alpaca yarns, which are such a dream to knit with too. And as I mentioned, yarn is a DK weight yarn, and the needles that I used were a US 9 or a 5.5 millimeter. And then, of course, we want to know how long the codes are good for and when they may expire. So the codes do expire. The codes are currently active right now. So some people did pre-ordering, pre-sales of yarn. So if you've already received a code from your yarn shop, you are welcome to go ahead and download that pattern right now. When we get off this call, hang out with me for a little longer. And the codes will be active until Monday, May 1st at midnight, so 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to enter the code from your yarn shop on Ravelry. You want to click Add to Cart, and then you want to use a coupon code before checking out. So I'm going to take a quick second, and I am going to, hopefully, if this works, yes, I am going to share and kind of walk you through exactly how to redeem a code, because I want to make this super, super simple for you. So when you go to the pattern page, which is ravelry.com/patterns /library LYS Love Shawl, or you can just search for it and it's going to be linked all over the place too. So when you go to the Ravelry page, you're going to head over on the right side of your screen, and it'll have Ravelry download. It has the price. And then to the right of that are three options. You want to click the middle one, which says Add to Cart. You should get a window that pops up from Ravelry, and it should also appear in your shopping cart if you see that little one peeking out just above the number. So once you have the pattern there in your cart, you're going to press this text that says use a coupon code. Now this is a code I just made up for demonstrations. Let's see if that works. I do recommend actually typing the code into the box and not pasting it, because sometimes when you paste a code, you get like extra characters or spaces, and the code is all caps. So after you type in your full coupon code, you're going to click apply. Once you do that, this is what your screen should look like. So it should have a minus next to the price. It'll have a little thank you message from me, and then underneath that it should say total free. If it doesn't say total free, stop what you're doing, reach out to your yarn store for help. And please don't, if it doesn't say free and you're trying to use a code, please go ahead, don't go ahead and purchase it, because I'm not able to offer refunds. And then you'll see checking out, and then you will see this, and you'll actually see two PDFs here. So the first one that has this collage of 4 pictures, that is the standard formatted, we'll call it a pretty layout of the pattern, like a magazine kind of style layout. And then you'll see a second PDF. And this is, it says it up here, low vision and screen reader accessible version. This pattern is many, many pages. It's over 30 pages, I think. It is large print, so it is, I think, 22 point size, black ink. There's within the pattern, there's not pictures or charts or things like that. So it makes it easier for people who struggle with their vision or who know how to craft but can't read printed things these days. There's a screen reader software, and also Adobe Acrobat will do. It has a read the text option. And so it's a separate file. It's a cause that's important to me to offer this whenever I can. And some people, even who don't struggle too much with it, with their vision these days, do prefer to use the low vision version of the patterns. So those are both included for you. There's no additional cost for them. You'll get both. Okay, so that is how to use the coupon code. If the code doesn't apply, please don't go forward because I cannot offer refunds on this. And now I am going to go back to the slides. So I'm going to stop the screen sharing and present again. Oh, and we've got some comments here too. Mosaic Yarn Studio says, thank you. Your wrap is beautiful. Thank you so much. And Gina says, love that you made a vision accessible option. Thank you. And MJ says, thank you for the low vision pattern. I know that it's a struggle. And so I'm happy to have an ability to offer that to you. Audience window. There we go. All right, so we are back. So again, you have until Monday, May 1st, which is this coming Monday at midnight Eastern time to redeem your code. And so even though we have 247 yarn shops participating this year, of course, I can't reach every yarn shop. I reached out to many that unfortunately I didn't hear back from, and emails go to spam and all of that. So if there is not a yarn shop that's near you that's participating, or there's just not a yarn shop near you, I have links to local yarn stores that will have kits available to purchase on their website to make it easy for you to still support a local yarn store. And the pattern is also available for purchase on Ravelry if you would prefer to knit from your stash. A lot of people make that a New Year's goal, a New Year's resolution. So stay tuned. I should have that list by tomorrow morning, hopefully. It's still reaching out to a few shops that mentioned they were hoping to put kits together for you on their website. So can I still join the knit along even if you don't go in person to a store? So yes, absolutely. You can join the knit along whether you buy from a shop that's near you, whether you shop buy a kit online from a participating store, or whether you just buy the pattern from me on Ravelry and choose to knit from your stash. And I also made this. I just wanted, this is kind of a zoomed in where to find. It's right here, that add to cart. So you'll go to the pattern page, you will do add to cart, and then you'll be able to enter your coupon code. I have emails for you that I will be sending. Oh, Gina had a comment. She said, love this pattern. I plan to buy yarn from both my Arizona local yarn store and also from my, is that Minnesota yarn, or Minnesota, I think. LYS. That's wonderful. I'm so thrilled that you're participating and that you're supporting 2 yarn shops. That's just so beautiful. So I have emails for you. So if you sign up for emails using this link, doublethestitches.com/LYSday23- sign up, and I'll put that link in the comments to make it clickable for you. You will get emails from me. You'll get reminders before our live events. And so those will be straight to your inbox. And I also want to show you. Okay, so we're going to share this tab. So this is the page for Local Yarn Store Day. It links to all the different things for you. So you just have that one link to make it easy to remember. doublethestitches.com/LYS day. And so this talks about the yarn, the needles. This is the link here. Sign up for the KAL is the link for the emails. And it also has the dates here for our live Zoom events. If you're a yarn store, you haven't signed up yet, you can click that button. It'll bring you to a form. 240 yarn stores all across the United States. We also have yarn stores in Canada, and we have yarn stores in one yarn store in South Africa, which is incredible to me to have reached all the way to South Africa. And so those are all here. Each of these little links actually link to the yarn store website. If they didn't have a website, then it links to their Facebook page, but I wanted to make it easy for you to find them. So I really, truly hope that you love on your local yarn stores, check them out, see what they're doing this weekend. A lot of them have many, many deals going on. They've got sales, they've got fun events, they've got classes. Really support them. They really do need us. And this is the link. When you click the link to sign up for the emails, you'll also get a little thank you gift from me. So you'll just scroll down and you'll fill in your first name, your email address. And there's also some frequently asked questions for you here. And Sally shared, Sally is one of my wonderful test knitters that I'm so grateful for. And she shared that it was a pleasure to test knit and she loved the drape. And she shared the most beautiful picture of her wearing it with me. So, all right. So that is all I kind of prepared in advance. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to me. We're going to have the live knit along on Zoom. We're also going to have ongoing support within my Double the Stitches Patterns Facebook group. So if you're watching this on the Facebook page or on YouTube, definitely you can join the community. And let me find that link I will share. If you go to join the community, this is that link, doublethestitches.com/the group. Then you can join the Facebook group so you can have more direct access to me. If you have more questions, the pattern is live now. So if you've got a code, go ahead and buy it. If you are stash diving and using your own yarn or supporting a different yarn store that isn't participating, you can go grab the pattern right now. And reminder, of course, make sure to use your code before it expires. It expires Monday at midnight. So it's Friday now. And I can't wait to see your beautiful projects. I'm going to do some giveaways at the end. And those will be for people who have created a project on Ravelry to show with finished pictures of or in progress pictures of their shawls. So not just a picture of the yarn, but show me your knitting. You don't have to have finished it by that point. I just want I want you to be working on it. So, but not the pressure of having to have finished it. So that's also fun. And again, reach out if you have any questions for me at all. And I can't wait to knit along with you. Happy local yarn store day, friends. Take care. Bye.